So today we're going to the high country of Victoria, Australia. And I'm going to talk about something that's currently happening. This particular area of Australia is super well known for its like outdoor nature. It's like thick forest, high mountains, really rugged terrain. You don't just go out there. You know what I mean? You have to be trained. And so like hunters, trappers, hikers, all outdoors people, it's like it attracts them all. And there's these famous trails through there. But what has been happening recently is an alarming and unexplainable amount of disappearances. But the numbers are so massive, they can't ignore them anymore because they do not correlate with like any of the data they've ever gotten. It's like the numbers have just spiked. So something's going on.
Dude, drop bears.
I'm going to go over just a couple of cases. So we'll start with, and okay, so off the top, I got to mention this. I got this all from an article written by John Sylvester, and it's from The Age. So it's an article. Go look it up. Really well written. All right, so we're going to start with Russell Hill and Carol Clay, age 74 and 73. Everyone who he chose to spotlight, so there's like hundreds of disappearances, and everyone who he chose to spotlight is an avid and experienced outdoorsman or outdoors person.
That's like the missing 411 of Down Under.
Okay, yeah.
It's like missing 114.
Yeah. Mate. So Russell, this is March 20th of 2019. So this is super recent. Russell was a retired bush logger, spent all of his life like in the mountains, cutting trees down, things like that. Super experienced. Their campsite was found. They go to it, and there had been an intentional fire set to burn parts of their camp. Mm-hmm. But their camp is completely set up for like a very leisure camp experience. They have like a tent, chairs, and a whole trailer. And sections of the camp are on fire, but it's not like an out of control fire. It's like a controlled fire and something that someone obviously started.
A leisure camp?
Like it was very cushiony camp. Like they had a lot of amenities. Like
because you said trailer. Just a tent and
a camper.
Oh, okay.
With a bed, shower,
bidet.
Yeah,
glamping out here.
So I feel like I said this poorly, but these two go missing. No one ever hears from them. When they finally track them down, they get to this campsite. They see that it's very odd. Parts of the camp have been lit on fire, and everything is like set up like they were just there. Nothing's missing except his drone. He was like an avid drone flyer, and they went through everything, had some people come in and say, yeah, he would have had his drone. It's gone. Like here's the box. There's no drone. This couple, they were known to have full happy lives. No reason or hint that they wanted to like disappear or, start a new life or kill themselves, anything like that. Everyone who knew him was like, no, there's no sign of any of that. They organize a massive search party. Nothing. They find nothing. Next one. This kid named Niels Becker. He's 39. Avid hiker. Goes on these long hikes all the time. He's very safe about it. Tells his family exactly where he's going to be, his route, his schedule, everything. So he's on this one high trail. And there's checkpoints. There's like these huts where campers stay. And I think there's certain huts you can get a little bit of reception or at least enough to make a phone call out. So he's at checkpoint 2. Calls his family, tells them, everything's going good. I'm here. I'm going to sleep tonight and I plan on heading down to checkpoint 3 tomorrow. And he was never seen again. Doing their investigation, the police find out that the last person to see him is a very particular person who I'll introduce in a minute. Another one, Conrad Whitlock, age 72. This is July 2019. So no one knows why, but he leaves his home, comes to the high country, parks his car, gets out, never seen again. So his car is left by the side of the road, doors open, wallet, phone, money, everything left in the car, and he's never seen again. He didn't leave a note. There was no suicide note. He did Someone said he had complained about experiencing headaches. So someone's theory was like maybe he had an episode. And they said if that were the case, he most likely would have been found within the vicinity of the car. But they did a massive search, no sign of him. Dogs, no body, nothing, right? Next, David Prideaux. David Prideaux. He's 50. He's an outdoorsman. This one's weird. There wasn't a lot of info in this article, so I don't know what exactly happened, but this is what it said. He's a super experienced hunter. They go camping all the time. Him and his brother-in-law go out into this environment to hunt, and he's never seen again. That's just all they say about him. It's like he goes out with his brother-in-law and doesn't return. Doesn't say anything about what his brother-in-law said. Like, I don't know. Obviously, the brother-in-law was like cleared of all suspicion. Otherwise, he would have been in jail. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But somehow he just disappears. And then the last one was a guy named Warren Meyer. He's 57, super experienced. He disappeared, and he was known to have on him at the time. He just went on a 4-hour hike, which is like 4 miles. I don't know. What is that?
5-6 miles.
Yeah.
Okay. So not that long. He was experienced. He had water, food, his phone, a GPS, and the weather was super good. And he was never seen again.
The most concerning one to me was the dude who got out of his car. It's like he wasn't deep in the woods or anything. Like he wasn't hiking, but like
it's like he literally just disappeared. Like it kind of looks like one theory is maybe he had to go to the bathroom really bad and he got out and went pee, but that doesn't explain anything else.
Why he left his car on and the doors were open. I mean, somebody else could have come through, but like if they did, why didn't they take his wallet?
Yeah.
True.
Like robbery wasn't the intention there. You know what I mean? I don't know.
So weird.
Okay. So theories are rampant. There is a small like community that lives out there. They're locals, and they start coming up with a ton of theories.
Hell yeah.
So
My bush folk.
some of them have said they think this is weird. Especially, okay, so remember I mentioned the 57-year-old guy who went out with his brother-in-law.
Yeah.
They think he specifically was killed by a hitman because he was a prison warden or something like that. Like he was in the prison system. And so they think he was killed by a hitman.
Okay, that explains one.
Yeah, right.
What about the rest?
Like, was he a bad warden? Like Mr. Sir from Holes?
What it said is like a pretty notorious gang leader or drug dealer had been killed and he was blamed for it or something like that. So, yeah, but like you said, Sean, that explains one death. What the hell is going on to everyone else? There's like hundreds of disappearances.
In the same area?
Yeah.
No.
The next one is people are fabricating their own disappearance to like go off the grid or start
That's
a new
what I
life.
do.
Okay. First of all. The next one was just accidents. But
Yeah,
it doesn't
they would still be in the vicinity if there were accidents.
Yeah, that could
Probably.
account for some, and most likely some of them are accidents, but it does not account for all of them. And especially, the ones where like they should have been able to find a body.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I haven't heard Yowie yet.
But the most prevalent and widely believed theory amongst the locals is
Drop Bear. My money's on Drop Bear.
it is someone that they have all started to call the Button Man.
That's gross.
Don't like that.
The Button Man?
The Button Man.
That sounds
Do
like
you know the Button Man?
that sounds like somebody from Over the Garden Wall, kind of like.
It definitely sounds like a literary, like that would be like a scary person in a book.
Yeah.
Very fitting name. So let's figure out who he is, or let's find out who he is. So the Button Man is the last known person to see Neil Becker. He said, "Yeah, I saw him."
What happened to Neil
Wait,
Becker?
this is an
Neil
actual
Becker was the
person.
one. Yes. So Neil Becker is the guy who checked in with his family at checkpoint 2 and just had to go to checkpoint 3, never seen again. Okay. So the Button Man is the name given to this guy who has been visiting this place for many years. So many people have had weird experiences with this guy. Let me just explain. They call him the Button Man because he makes his own like buttons of a vest out of deer antlers. He also has deer antler gauges. He's over 70, super short white hair, and he wears like very dark, almost homemade looking clothing. And the thing about him is you will never, ever see him unless he wants you to see him. So for months at a time, and this is just what they can gather.
That's such like creeper status,
Bro, just like it's
just like
worse.
his Instagram bio. It's like you will never see me unless I want you to.
So from what they can gather, for months and months at a time, he comes to this area, he sets up his camp, and it's like on this super remote mountain face that is like almost impossible to get to. His camp is near a cross section where most of the trails in the area like cross. So he kind of like his tent or his camp is situated in a way that he can see anyone coming up his valley. He can like see any game in his valley. He hunts and traps. He doesn't bring any food with him. He has these crazy elaborate traps that he sets up, and he hunts and eats game. He sets up these stone pyramids in all these places that no one knows why they're there. He puts piles of pebbles on remote forest roads so that he knows if someone's gone past him. And all this information is collected by like so many people who have had experiences with him. So people have had alarming experiences with him. One thing he does, and so many people started coming out and saying that this happened to them, is top level hunters go out to this area to like hunt. And they said they would be stalking, super mindful. They're trying to hunt game, right? And they would set up camp. They're on high alert. They'd go to sleep and they'd wake up. And the button man would set up his tent, or like a tent-like structure, right behind him. And they had no idea he was there. Like he would do it as a game. He would hunt the hunters, is what he had told other people. So like all the time people say they would be like in this area, and out of nowhere, without any notification, he would like walk out of the dark. He was super forceful. He would question people. Why are you here? What are you doing? Why are you in this place? Where do you plan on going? And if any question was asked of him, he would like ignore it, deflect it, and go harder on questioning them. Everyone who came in contact with him said he had a 1,000-mile stare, to where he would stare right through your soul. And there was a lot of bushmen out there who would hide bushels of chopped firewood, because in some areas it was hard to come by really good firewood. So they would hide them in these super remote places. And when they returned, all gone. They said the only way someone would have known that is if they watched me put it there. Okay.
That's exactly who I pegged to be the button man. When you first said the button man, I was like trying to profile him in my mind.
And this
Just
came
like
up.
this short old man makes his own clothing or whatever.
This sounds like BS, but it's like a real article. You can all go read it. It's crazy.
Where can we find it?
It's called
BuzzFeed?
The Age. Yeah. It's called the National Enquirer. No, it's The Age, and look up John Sylvester.
Okay.
We'll put a link to it and something.
We won't.
Maybe. So that's the old couple who went disappeared
Oh, sad.
from their camp.
Mm.
That is real sad.
Okay.
They look like jolly old folk.
So that old couple, he was a known drone flyer, right?
Mm-hmm.
He came up to the camp area to scout out a week before, and people said they saw him flying his drone in the vicinity of the Button Man's camp. Week later, gone. No trace. Drone gone.
Hmm.
One photographer, he was a wildlife fire photographer. I don't know what that means, but that's what he was. He came to the area to, if I remember correctly, he was trying to track down a mountain lion. He was camping, moving, tracking, camping, moving, tracking in the area of the Button Man's known camp spot. When he gets home, he looks through all his footage. This sounds fake. This is what happened. Looks through his footage, clicks through. In the middle of all his photos he took, there is one single photo of him asleep in his tent.
Oh.
Dude, that's creepy.
Flex.
Dude, I also wonder what was on the drone footage. You know?
Yeah.
It's like Button Man's above the drone.
He's like in the air.
Yeah.
Okay, so it gets to the point Allegations are rampant. Numbers are so high. The missing persons police squad of this area, they decide enough's enough.
Damn. They have a lot of job security right now.
I know. They're like, this is great for business.
Reel them in, button man.
Yeah. They are like, okay, we can't ignore this. So they get prepared, they get ready, and they hike to his campsite.
Mm-hmm.
He's not there. And they wait for 3 days until finally he comes out of the darkness and says, like, what do you want? Now, they said...
That's so terrifying.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
They got the feeling he'd been there the whole time.
Yeah.
They said they came at him very carefully, no accusatory mood at all. They were saying, we need your help. No one knows this land better than you. Something's going on. So they asked for his help. He is very reluctant, very aloof for a very long time, like doesn't answer anything until finally he says, yeah, I did see that hiker. I don't know what happened to him. It sounds like he was zero help. And these cases
Not surprising.
are still not closed. To
But
my knowledge, he's still out there.
But he's like, in a lot of cases, somehow like a common denominator.
Well, the drone footage, I think that's why they highlighted these. Like, keep in mind, there's like 60, 70 plus cases, right? And these are the ones they choose to highlight because in some way
He was connected.
It's somewhat connected to. Yeah.
you could kind of connect them to the case. Some more than others, like literally being the last person to see him.
Yeah.
What is interesting is all those paths cross near where he's known to camp. And so I think that's like the most damning evidence. All I know is a person named the Button Man is still out in the wild.
He's sussing.
And to me, he feels like an apex predator. At least that's like what he does. He's like, he hunts people. Now, whether or not he's responsible for the disappearances of people, I don't know. But if you had to ask me.
Probably burying people under those rock pyramids because they said they couldn't explain them.
I'm sure they like put a sniffing dog near him or something. I don't know.
We don't know that.
Anyway, so that's why I was talking about predators and mountain lions.
Yeah.
But
It all comes back.
wow, that's the
Full
Button
circle.
Man. I wish I had more. I wish I could like tell you. And if there is an update, please let me know. If you're listening out there and you know anything about the Button Man, hit us up. But I hope there's no update. I hope that's it.
Button Man relocates to Utah.
Oh,
It's crazy to me the like mental fortitude that some people have to want to just physically live off the grid. There's a whole series. It's like by Nat Geo or North Face or something like that on YouTube of people who have like homes built out in the wilderness and they'll live there for like 10 months.
Mm-hmm.
Come back to the city once a year and get some supplies.
isn't it called homesteading? Is that the term?
I don't know.
I mean, I maybe it's a version of homesteading, but yeah, it's crazy. Like for you to decide to want to disconnect from everything modern, and
Here's what I'll say. I just had a thought. It does look like it's him. Like, if you know what I mean? Like, a lot of the signs are not great for him. But what if it's like a Boo Radley situation where it's like he looks like he would be the bad guy, so everyone is like, oh, it's definitely him. And maybe he's out there helping people. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't actually know. So I'm not trying. I don't know. Button Man, if you're a good dude, I hope you're doing well.
but if not,
Screw you, dude. I'm just kidding. Don't say that. I don't want to say that to the Button Man. I don't know. He could be innocent. That's all I'm saying.
you just had an existential crisis.
Yeah,
right
dude.
there.
I was like, dude, what if he travels over here? I
He's
wouldn't
been
know
in the
until he
closet
was
the whole time?
wanted to see me.
He's like,
Yeah.
what do you guys want? This is our house, dude.
How did you even get in here, bro?
That's who Kevin's been saying,
Oh.
and that's who knocked on my car door.
Oh my gosh. That might be true.
Might be.
All right, guys. That was me tonight. Thank you so much.
It's been fun.